7 months ago now, I set up this tank, which was initially supposed to be a hybrid between a terrarium and an aquarium as well. And as time has progressed, things are in need of a change in the aquarium side. Plants have taken over, and in the terrarium side here, the leopard gecko that I have, he has actually gotten quite a bit too big for this enclosure, so he will also get a new tank in the future. My ideas for the aquarium side is to reuse as much of the plants in Hardscape as I can, and also include some new things as well. This Schismoglossus, as you see here, is definitely one that we need to reuse because they are looking absolutely brilliant. But the thing that I want to remove is a substrate here at the front. I would like a barrier that is ideally only sand, so we'll have to take the substrate out as well. First things first, we need to figure out where everything goes. The fish will go in this bucket right here, and the new substrate that we're going to use is the Tropica substrate. And we'll put some white sand as well on the front of the barrier, and then we'll have the hose that we need to siphon the water out with, but for the fish as well, they'll have an air stone in there so that they'll be proper oxygenated, because they will be out of the tank for an extended period of time, so this will do just fine. And then we need to have the working station ready. This is the bucket that I'll be putting the substrate in. We have a bucket for the hardscape, and the rest of the buckets should just be for the plants only, so that we're fully covered in that regard. One of them is specifically for moss only. Right, so the first thing we need to do now is remove the hardscape. The camera angle is changed, and I apologize for that, but that's the only way that I could actually record this process, so bear with me. Great, so now the hardscape's in. As you can see, it looks great. We've got the 4 main stones. One of them has the moss on it, but the big one will still be the kind of eye catcher. And so next up, we can start draining the water from the aquarium into the bucket where the fish will be. So let's go. So next up comes the task of actually catching the fish. I think it's important to learn to do this step because I don't want the fish to suffer a stress for an extended amount of time when we remove them off the plants and stuff. So doing it now is the best approach, I think. I'm not going to be able to catch all of the fish now, but I do think I can catch most of them, and I think that's a worthwhile approach in this matter. So let's catch them. fish are now in the bucket, and it's time to get them aerated as well. So because they'll be staying here for at least the next few hours, it's good to have them get some oxygen in the water as well. And the air stone here will definitely help in doing that. First up, I think we can grab all of this Rotala rotundifolia blood red from Tropica as well. It is just overgrown and it's not looking that good anymore. Some of the stems are still looking very great. But let's move that out first, and we can also take the Salvinia minima out as well. So we can get a clear overview of everything else that needs to be removed. So I have now removed all of the Rotala from the aquarium, and there was quite a lot. Every time I've been trimming stems in the past, I've planted these individual stems there, but I won't do that in the future because otherwise I'll just simply get too much again. Okay, so check this out. I was just minding my business, getting rid of the rest of the plants, and look who's decided to join us! It's Coco, devourer of crickets, ruler of the underworld. Ah, he's cute. Very happy. What a lad. But yeah, he's come to check out the things. So everything, the plants for the majority at least, have now been removed. And here you can see that there's nothing left really in there. The filter's still in there, the background's still in there as it should be. But yeah, only the substrate in the water, some snails and some shrimps that I still need to catch around. But look here and you can see everything. We've got the fish in this bucket here. Once again, the guppies are looking great, healthy for the most part. All the babies are in there. Then we've got the epiphytes and the Rotala as well, looking good as well. And the Schismoglottae priotole as well. It's looking good. Yeah, it's just all of the plants are in there. Now it's just about getting the water down and then filling it back up and putting everything back in its new place. There's a specific reason hiding underneath the substrate for why I wanted to do a rescape, and this is the exact reason because I have some egg crates underneath that were raised in order to get the main stone to stand more upright and close to the water surface, and also to protect the glass. But the thing that created was basically just to limit the roots of the plants that were growing around the main stone to develop their roots, and so they were stunted and couldn't really take off. Everything has come out of the aquarium now, so we can start moving on to actually the hardscape itself. And I found these 3 rocks that will go in the barrier section. That looks pretty good. I like this composition. So I'll just try to glue them together in the contact points by using some paper towel and some gel-based super glue as well. I don't have the liquid type that's aquarium safe at the moment, so gel type will have to do. So I'll also be needing to spray it with some water in order to get it to react and activate. But this, as you can see, is the total barrier that will go to separate the sand from the substrate as well. And I think it looks great, so let's move on with this. And so then it's time to actually put in the new substrate. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I'll be using the Tropica substrate. I think it's good, it works, it's packed full of nutrients that the plants will use. So getting some new substrate in there will definitely help as well. So what we're going to do is just take a little handful and just place it at the back, and then just kind of slope it all back together so we get the effect of more depth. I'll not use the whole bag. I will put in enough for it to begin to slope, because we also have the substrate, the old substrate, which I'll reuse, which also has a lot of nutrients in it as well. Okay, so the new substrate is in. We can now move on to the one that I'll reuse from Rescape. This is also just basically the sand and the old Tropica substrate from the old scape that I'll reuse and put on top. And I'm gonna just do the same, load the buckets, fill it up the back, and then slope it toward the back so we get a more effective depth, and so that I'll actually also have more space in order to plant the Rotala back into its original positions as well, but all throughout the back this time. And when I'm doing this process, it's important as well to have some sort of barrier in there, and I have this little piece of cardboard at the front, you can see, which will help me separate from where I need to put the substrate now, from where I will also only need glass in the future. Okay, so we can now put in the barrier as well behind the cardboard here, and that way we'll actually be able to remove the cardboard. I'll put the rocks in the same composition as they were before in order to just have the same effect. So I'll just put the rocks in individually, and yeah, it should look great. So next up we need to prepare the in vitro cups that I have of new plants that will go in. First is the Hygrophila pinnatifida. I have 2 cups of these, and I've tried growing Hygrophila before, but unfortunately they all died out. I think it was from potassium deficiency probably in the past, but that was planted in the substrate, so hopefully this time when I'll use it as an epiphyte it will go more smoothly. So yeah, I have the 2 cups here of Hygrophila. Gonna rinse them off quickly. And then I also have the Echinodoris renni, and I think this was quite an interesting plant because it grows some more reddish and brownish leaves, which I think was really interesting to have. So yeah, this is a really interesting plant, and one that I'm looking forward to trying to work with, seeing how that grows over time as well. Next is another pot of the Schismatoglottis priatoi, and this one I actually already have in the aquarium, but that is only grown in the substrate. And I was told that I could use this one as an epiphyte plant as well. So I'll try that and see how it grows. But yeah, they can be a bit tricky to get out of the in vitro cups sometimes. Especially when you're holding a camera in the other hand as well. And then lastly we also have the Eliocaris pusilla mini, which is also just dwarf hairgrass. And it's a carpeting plant that I've really wanted to try and see if I can work with, because it looks extremely beautiful when you have a full carpet of it. But I'm not using CO2, so I'm not really sure how it will work, but yeah, I really want this to succeed and I wanted to give it a try, so I figured why not use it this time as well. So the first plant that's ready to come in and have been prepared is the Eleocharis pusilla mini, also known as the dwarf hairgrass. This will go with the foreground just behind the barrier as well, so that's why it'll be a good idea to get this plant in first. So what I'm going to do is simply draw a line in the substrate for where I think it is best to put the plant. I'll just place the camera down, then we'll go. So the line will go here and the dwarf hairground will go in the foreground, so it'll be closest to the barrier of rocks in there. And I think this will look great, and hopefully you should carve it out from there. But yeah, let's plant it. So here for the first few minutes I'm trying to get the hardscape down as well. This was quite a lengthy process actually, which is why the process isn't shown as well in the video. But I've managed to come down to this disposition here. It's looked great. You have the rocks at the center and everything looks good. I have not glued the rocks together, which is probably a mistake, but I just couldn't be asked really. Next up is the Echinodorus renni. This was actually a bit of a struggle to separate into individual plants, but I've managed to separate it into 4 different plants. Hopefully they'll grow great, tall and beautiful. So let's put them in. They will actually go close to the hardscape. So I'm just gonna take my pincers here and I'm just gonna mark where I think would be a great place for them. I think one here close to the moss wall would be good, and I think one close to the kind of barrier, the little hole between the rocks would be great. One behind and then one to the left. I think this should space them out pretty great. But yeah, let's plant them as well. next up we have the old Schismatiglotis prietoi that I've actually grown in the substrate, and this will go just in and around the back of the dwarf Hoyagrass as well as the Echinodorus renni, and they'll just try to create kind of seamless effect, so it's not much transitional. That's the idea at least, so hopefully you'll be able to do good in this regard. Okay, so now we move on to the new epiphytes that I've bought, which is the new Schismatiglotis prietoi as well as the Hygrophila pinnatifida as well. So they are the two new plants, and they'll go on the middle rock, as you can see here in the Hardscape. So the idea here is just to plant them on the rock, on the top of it, so that they'll have easier access to the light and they'll be able to grow as an epiphyte, and hopefully I'll have greater success than I've had previously with that. Okay, finally we're now able to move on to the moss wall, and what I've added is all the epiphytes here. I've added some Hygrophila as well that I think will look great, surrounded by all of this green moss. But yeah, I have this whole bucket here full of Java moss that I will be able to put on the moss wall. And the way I'm gonna do it is to just take a bit of the gel-based super glue, and I will just dab it on each of the bits of the egg crates that the moss will go on, and hopefully the moss will stick to this. Only time will tell, but let's see how it goes. now we can begin to add back the epiphytes, and the bulbitis here that I actually have, I've separated it into 2 individual plants. And yeah, I'm going to plant them now, see if I can find some gaps that look good. I know there is a gap between the big rock at the center and one of the rocks to the right that is actually resting on, and I think will look great. I've added some Schismatoglottis prietoi here already as an epiphyte, but just this little gap here I think would be great to kind of wedge bulbitis in. And for the other plants, I'm not really sure where it goes. Maybe it can act as kind of a cover for the roots of the pothos that I have in the aquarium as well. Yeah, I think it does work up here actually, and the flow of the water is actually coming out of here as well, so this will be great for the plant. Now it's simply a matter of trying to find a way to actually make it stick. Plants that I've added in, especially the bulbitis at the top, were actually starting to dry out, so I had to put the water back in as well. So it has now been 2 days actually since I set up the tank initially, and now the water has been back, the fish are back, the shrimp are back in. The tank has been filtered through, so all the gunk and stuff has come out, and it actually is looking pretty great. And last time as well, I think the video cut out from when I was building the moss wall, but that I've also completed since then, and it is actually looking pretty decent. All the epiphytes are on there, and it looks great. There's pretty much no gaps, and there's no way through. And all the plants are back in as well. If we start off with the ones that are already there, the smaller nubias, I have glued some to the rocks here, and also some to the moss wall. And there's also one at the back. Let me just see if I can get there through the rotala back there. If it will let me focus. Yes, great. And the bigger nubias as well, I didn't really have much room for, so I just plucked it back here underneath the filter, and that should work. And the sand as well I've also added, and it looks pretty good, I think. Of course there is, since it's been 2 days, much shrimp waste and stuff has been collected down here, so this will have to be siphoned out eventually, but it looks great. Another thing, the Echinodoris here as well is actually also beginning to stand up. In this plant here in particular, you can see a bit of plant milk going on, but that's only because the fact that the plants were grown immersed in the in vitro cups, and now they have to adapt to the underwater form as well. But they are looking great, and the dwarf hairgrass as well is looking pretty decent. The goal here is for it to carpet up eventually, But there's, I mean, everything has been stuck to its place, so that is good. And hopefully this will carpet around and yeah, kind of stick together with the Schismoglotti that I also have in here. I'm interested as well in the Hygrophila, how that will be, because the first time I had Hygrophila as well, it died out eventually. But in that time I also only planted it in the substrate as well. So maybe this time, hopefully, it will be different, and it will hopefully grow. Some of the Rotala as well has, now you can see here. So I'll just have to replant this, and then I will give you the cinematic of how everything turned out. So I'll just replant this first. So I do see a small gap behind this leaf here, so there's room for us to plant there. So that's what we'll do, or at least try. I have to be very careful with this as well, because the rock here is not glued together to the other hardscapes. So I will have to be careful when planting this, but I can also feel like there isn't actually that much substrate on this side. So that's not particularly good. I did think I had it all covered, but I might have made a mistake on that end, and that would also be the reason why they keep jumping out of place. Looks like it sticks for now, and the rest I will I don't even know where to put this. I think in this side over down here, and I also think that's where the majority of these that jumped out actually came from in the first place. So they'll essentially just be put back to where they jumped out from. And hopefully this time they'll stick there. And this as well, I do not want to touch the rock or the other plants, preferably at all. I have a lot more substrate on this side, so I have a lot more room to work with, a lot more to wedge down. You probably cannot see it. These will come back out. Right, I'll have to just go in again. But yeah, this can be a bit tedious. That's alright, I don't mind. It's just about getting them in there, wedging, pressing a few times, and then hopefully it'll come out. Or not come out, stay there. And it does, for now. Good.